So hi.
Hi.
How nice to meet you. So we're going to be talking today about fitness in the performing industry, which is going to be really, really fun to talk about because what you do is really niche.
Yeah.
It's really niche, and that's really cool because I think having a background as a creative, you don't always know how to prioritize your health.
Yeah.
Because the industry is just not really, it's not really built for that, to be honest, because you're running on, multiple jobs, multiple self-tapes, auditions, or just trying to pay the rent with like multiple day jobs type things. So so let's start with maybe where you trained and then how you kind of got to building your own personal fitness brand. Really.
Where do I start? So I've always been performing, probably since I like loads of performance since a very young age. And then as I grew up, I realised I wanted to go more down the acting route. And then I went to drama school. I went to Central School of Speech and Drama, which I was just saying to you kind of coincided with lockdown. So it was a bit of a tough, very mixed, like very nuanced time for me in terms of my training. Like I kind of loved, hated it. And there was a lot of online workshops. And I think when I got to my second, third year, I was like, I was young, I had the attitude of this isn't helpful to me, this is not why I came to drama school. So I thought in my head, I'm gonna have to find a way to make money when I come out of drama school, because this is not working for me right now. And so I got really into fitness that year as well. And I had like a bit of a weird relationship with my body, and as loads of dancers do, coming out of like being in studios with mirrors and comparing yourself to this dancer and this actor and stuff like that. So I always had a weird relationship with my body, and I went to the gym for like the first time in my first year, and I just like loved lifting weights and like feeling strong, and I loved that feeling that I got from it. So I think when I was like not really performing as much as I'd hoped to be, or like being in a studio training as much at the intensity that I expected, I was like, this is a great opportunity for me to start like learning how to help people in the gym. So I qualified as a personal trainer in like my second, third year. And then
you were training?
Yeah, it was insane.
God, that's intense.
Insane. I look back at that part of my life and I don't know how I did it.
There's lots of things where you look back and you're like, I think it's just the sheer will to do it.
It is. And I was like, 20 years old. So I was like, I qualified in like the summer, the summer holidays. And then I was working, and that's how I don't know how I did it. I used to wake up at like 4 a.m, go to the gym, train like my early morning clients, go straight to, luckily my gym was really near to Swiss Cottage Central, went straight to drama school, do like a 10 to 5, whatever, and then go straight back to the gym, train my evening clients, and then like train myself. And so while my friends were like, it was like half lockdown, half normal, in and out. While my friends were like wanting to go out, or they would be at home and stuff like that, or working in the training, I'd be like, just working, and then the gym closed, and that's when I found like online coaching.
Oh, okay.
So that's when I went into that.
I was about to say that because actually, like, during lockdown and stuff, the gyms weren't always the best place to be, really, in some cases. But
because obviously it was like in and out, open, close. And so when it was closed, I'd be training people in parks like Primrose Hill. I'd go to Primrose Hill, run up and down the hill with my clients. When the gyms open, I'd be getting like busy clients in the gym. And then like it was lockdown again the second time around.
I feel like, it was just annoying, wasn't it?
It was just, it was awful. And like I was like, I need to do something that like will make me money, because this isn't working. And then I found online coaching, and I kind of haven't really looked back since. But I trained just like quite regular people, so not performers, for a good like 3-4 years, and then I started working with performers about a year and a bit ago now.
And so why did you sort of go, you sort of like found a niche, I suppose, of like, I want to train performers or creatives. Why? Just because that was the background that you came from, or?
Honestly, like it was a very selfish reason. It was very much like
most things are though. Most things are born out of like a selfish need to want to do something.
Exactly, and I'll never lie about that. I think like I got to a point with it where I was running this business for a few years, and it just wasn't going very well for me, and I didn't really get a massive fulfillment out of it. I feel like something was missing for me, and like with the online coaching world, with the fitness world, because everyone and their nan is an online coach now these days. It's like you've got to get a niche if you want to do well. And for me, I haven't got to that point yet, so I kind of was missing a big bit of like fulfillment, and I was like, something's missing for me. And for me, it was like, I'm either gonna leave this and quit and go back to like a job that I don't want to do, or I'm gonna like find a way to make this work for me. And I was just I was on holiday at the point, and I was sitting there and I was like, hang on, like, why am I not working with actors and dancers and performers, like that's what I know, that's what I come from. And also it's, for me, it was missing like a massive gap in the performing world and also the fitness world, to be able to like cater to performers and like come at it from like an understanding perspective in terms of like the mental side of it, that, as you said, like if you're working 4 to 5 jobs, if you're doing self-tapes, if you get last minute auditions come up, your day is looking different from someone that works in a 9 to 5 office environment. So it just kind of, I went all in, and it's been like the best thing I've done.
Oh, that's so good. I feel like you can probably connect more, like you said, you can connect more with your clients, I suppose, in how you relate and stuff, and people appreciate that in a personal trainer, because 100%. you want to have that trust of, you know, I mean, you're doing something with my health, so you want to have that, you know, trust and reliability. And what's great, I think, about your business is the fact that it's so specific that it allows people who are kind of feel like they're falling behind in their fitness because of this crazy world that we live in of, you know, all these different jobs. You know, how do we keep a routine and stuff? Because we don't have one. And every time I go and look on, you know, like you said, everyone and their nan is a fitness instructor online. Like there's Courtney Black, there's like Pamela Reif and stuff like that. And they always talk about consistency and keep your consistency. And if you have a routine, then you can stick to this regime. But we can't necessarily do that.
Exactly.
So how long has it been running for, like just the performance-y side?
So just over a year now. And cool. It's like, it's been crazy. Like, I've learned a lot as well, actually, even though like I've had my performing background and I'm still like trying to work as an actor as well now myself, like while balancing this. So it's like I understand where they're coming from, but I've learned so much from my clients as well. But as you said, like I think the biggest thing is that like lack of routine and lack of predictability in our lives. And as you said, like you can kind of go, all right, so I've got this rehearsal period and I'm teaching here and I'm going to this agency work here, but then you might have like a last minute self-tape that comes through. And I think what a normal trainer would fail to understand is like how important that is, not only to film, but to prep, to you know, edit, to get the shot right. And that might take you hours of your day. So your planned gym session might have to move or it might have to go. And I think what people fail to understand is consistency doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean showing up every single day. It doesn't mean being perfect. It means like, you know, 70 to 80%. If we can get that in the week, even if that means missing 2 or 3 gym sessions, or if that means like you don't hit your macros or your protein goal perfectly, like you're still being consistent. But there's this massive pressure from someone like you said, like Courtney Black, etc., whose their lives are fitness, and they love going to the gym and they love training and that's their whole life. Whereas for a performer, that can't be our whole lives. No. And also it's not really our first love as well. Exactly. I feel like these trainers are, you know, they look incredible, but they're doing that by being in the gym and working out pretty much every day. The average body doesn't look like that. It's like it just doesn't look like that. And what people want actually is just to probably stay in shape, you know, get their cardio better, maybe get a bit of strength training. It's not that intense. And I feel that, like you said, it's nice that you say that you're not striving for like perfectionism, because you can't do that. It's just not, it's really impossible when you're trying to balance everything out. I think that's what stops so many people from starting something, because they're like, oh, I don't have the time for it. Like I've talked to so many people that are like, oh, I want to reach out to you when I finished like Panto, when I finish this job, because then I'll be quiet. And I'm like, but you won't. Like something else will come up. And the point is that we want to establish like just as some sort of work that you're doing that isn't, as you said, going to the gym 5 times a week or running 3 times a week or doing anything crazy, because that's not sustainable. But we can make something small happen, and then when maybe you have got less rehearsals or you're not doing a tech run, then we can kind of like bring more into it. But it's always responsive to like what's like, I always adjust to what my clients are doing.
Definitely. So what sort of horrible myths come up to you all the time that you're like, that's just not true? Or maybe things that like clients will say to you that you're like, that's not true? I feel like you must have some.
There's so many food related ones, like I can't eat carbs, or like intermittent fasting is a big one. And intermittent fasting is fine, but there's like, people think it's like magical, like you're magically gonna like
Can you
lose
explain
weight.
that? What is that?
Yeah, of course. Intermittent fasting is basically like a window of your day where you can eat.
Okay.
And so people usually do like 16-8, which means 8 hours of the day you can eat, 16 you can't.
Okay.
But some people make it more intense, so they have less, like a 5-hour window where they can eat.
Yeah.
And this is like, people think that that's like a really good way to lose weight, fasting. But the reason that some people lose weight on it is simply because they end up eating less, because they have a shorter window of time to eat. But you could eat like 100 billion calories in the space of 5 hours, so that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose weight. And for as performers, oh my god, please don't do intermittent fasting, because you need your energy for your rehearsals, for your movement and stuff like that. No carbs, like that's gonna help me and stuff like that.
And we need carbs, because especially if you're like a dancer or something like that, like you're not going to get through whatever you need to get through.
Especially if you're trying to then go to the gym on top of that, like you're massively going to struggle. It's literally energy, as well as like they taste great, and
I suppose that makes you fall short before you've started as well, because if you gun for this, like, I'm going to have no carbs, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to do all this quick, and then you burn out, and then you're like, it wasn't for me, it didn't work.
Exactly. And there's the whole like cycle of going all in, doing nothing, that so many people do. I had a client who had she had a screen roll, and she had like 6 weeks to get in as much, like the best shape that she possibly could, which is not a long time at all. And she came to me, she was like, I'm ready to get on the juice, like whatever juice diet you give me. I was like, we're not going to do that.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, but she'd done that in the past, and that's what she knew. Because like, I think as well, at drama school, you might hear comments from your teachers being like, you know, depending on where you went and the time that you went as well, some teachers have very toxic attitudes to their students' bodies and what they should or should not be eating. And that will stay with you. And that's something that I've heard a lot as well. Yeah.
Which is a shame, isn't it? Because, well, I'm hoping that we're stepping more into a world of accepting, you know, all body shapes now, but it's not always the case. Like you said, like this client obviously was like, oh, I've got 6 weeks to get into shape, which is just so, that's just unrealistic, isn't it?
Yeah, I think what I try and always like lay down is like, sometimes you might have a job that comes in late and you don't have much time to, you know, if you're going to portray a character that needs to look a certain way, you kind of need to cater to that. And I think what I try and lay down is, this is not the healthy way to do it. We'll do it, but the most important thing is how you're going to come out of that. So you're not then mentally damaged, you don't have this like awful relationship with food, and you come out of it safely. But too many people focus on that,
on just the goal.
Yeah, exactly. And then they don't know what to do like afterwards. They're like, oh my god, like, and then they have this awful attitude towards food.
Yeah, definitely. And so let's go to scheduling. So we have crazy lives, as I've always said. You might be having 3 to 4 day jobs, 2 day jobs that, you know, are unsociable hours, which is one side of it. Or you might be on the West End if you're lucky enough to be in a musical show, whatever you are in. You might be on set, all these different things. Again, all have very unpredictable hours. Little bit less so for if you're in a show, because, you know, you're performing at night or you have a matinee and you know these set times. But is there any tips we can give to people about how we can implement small structures to keep ourselves fit during these times?
First I'd say take it one step at a time. Just think, like, it depends on your goals. If you have a goal to just get in shape or get healthy or get fit and have a good solid routine, like, look at each area of your life, maybe your nutrition, your movement, your activity level, like what area of it feels doable to work on now. If it's like you have loads of unpredictable jobs, you're really busy, you can't even fathom like going to the gym, don't think about that now. Just think about how you can like make adjustments to your diet, and where you can maybe like meal prep, or where in the week you can do your food shopping, and where in the week you can take 10-20 minutes to decide roughly, what am I going to eat, what kinds of foods am I going to eat, and then focus on that for like 3 weeks. Until you've got that, don't try and move on to the next thing. Because if you try and do everything in one and go, all right, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, I'm going to get in 10,000 steps, I'm going to eat XYZ, and then you fail the first thing, that's more likely to lead to the attitude of, well, I can't do this. As you said, like, I'm just going to give it up. This isn't for me. I'll try when I've got this on, or when I don't do that. So just focus one thing at a time. And then if you can't think about going to the gym, do a 20-minute home workout to start. And then you might find the more you do that, you might find your energy levels are up, so you can wake up a little bit earlier and go to the gym early. So literally, I think with all my clients, I'm all about like drip feeding.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest advice, is just one step at a time.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a really, really good tip, definitely. And these 10,000 steps, right?
Yeah.
It does my nutting. It does my nutting. They're like, you have to do 10,000 steps every day.
Yeah. I don't
What?
know who came up with
Who
that.
came up with that?
I couldn't tell you.
It's so random.
I think it's just because it's a nice round number. I think that's where it came from.
Yeah.
I could not tell you for my life. It's again, that's one of the myths.
Okay.
You don't have to get 10,000 steps in a day. Like, it really depends again on what you want. Like, if you want to just be active and lose weight, like, more steps is better, but you don't have to do 10k. Like, I don't do 10,000 steps in a day. I can't, like, with my work right now, because I'm predominantly on my laptop. I'll try and just my goal is to get in like 2 walks in a day, and that might be 5,000 steps, that might be 8,000 steps. If I was trying to lose weight, I would make it my mission to get them a little bit higher, but 10,000 is not a number that anyone has to follow. It's just I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so your sessions, do you do them live online? Do you do group workouts? What do you do?
So it's actually like nothing like that. I know it's like when you think personal training, you think sessions.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing when I was a face-to-face personal trainer. So we do like an hour in the gym or an hour in the park, that kind of thing. Now the way I work is like I kind of provide my clients with like a training program, a nutrition plan. And what we do is we check in once a week. So they'll send me like pictures and forms and stuff like that, and I'll give them like, we'll have a call check-in, or we'll give them video feedback, and then they book in calls with me whenever they need like the more mindset or like the motivation support side of things. So it's less like sessions in the gym, more like, this is what you're going to do, you're going to follow it, and then you're going to use me for calls and stuff like that. And then we do like group calls and webinars whenever there's something that I want to like educate my clients more on, that's like related to performing. That might be like rehearsal times, or like how can I maintain a sleep schedule amongst the madness that is my life.
It's crazy. So let's talk a bit about actually the workouts in general. What is I suppose I'm bad for this, so the warm-up and the cool downs, right? We think because we don't have enough time, I'll just go in, blast this workout, get out because I've got something to do. How beneficial is it to do a warm-up and a cool down?
I think it's not overrated. I think it's important, but people think that you need to do like so much. And I think, again, if you come from a dancing background or even acting, your warm-ups are really like important, which is so true. But for your gym training or your home training, it's like I would just keep it minimal. So I would do like a few dynamic stretches, just to like get your muscles moving. And then whatever you're lifting in the gym, I would always do what I call a warm-up set, which means you just prepare for bigger sets. If you're doing squats, you want to do a set of squats with no weight on the bar, for example, just to get your
the
body
movement.
Exactly. So it's just about getting your muscles and like everything, range of motion in place, ready to go to put heavier weights on. That's the most important thing you should do in your warm-up. But you don't need to like go for a run, you don't need to do this madness, like just dynamic stretches.
I think sometimes I will like just walk on the treadmill.
That's
for a bit,
good as well,
just to like get things moving, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I always used to think that as well. That was at drama school though. When I was at drama school and I used to go to the gym after being at drama school for 9 hours. I've been on my feet, so done like all this stuff, and I was like, right, I'll go for a run and then I'll start the weights. And it's like, well, I've already been on my feet for like, you know, like all this time doing rehearsals, and also movement classes are really intense as well. So you're like, I don't know what I was on really, but and these workouts, I suppose, and I think you have spoken about this as well, is that, you know, like if I'm going to be on the West End in the evening, perhaps this workout in the day is not going to be as intense because I'm about to do this show, and warming up for a part or a show is very different obviously than warming up for like a workout and stuff. And so would you advise that, like a less intense?
100%, because like doing a show is so intense and it takes a lot out of you energy wise. So if you've done a really high intense workout or like a HIIT workout or a run, your energy is going to massively deplete. So you either need to like seriously find a way to get it back up for the show, and that's where a lot of people go to caffeine, which I'm like, please avoid if you're doing a late show. So I encourage weight training, like slow controlled weight training. And like I say this a lot, I'd rather that you do 4 exercises that are like slow and controlled and only 4 of them in the gym, rather than like 10, 12 where you're rushing through it and it's like high intensity, because that increases your stress levels and you don't want your stress levels to be high before a show. So if I'm working with a client that's doing, as you said, maybe West End or doing like a full-time show, then I would say no cardio training, we're just doing weights. If they're doing something else and they want to do cardio, then absolutely fine. But yeah, no cardio before a show.
Because there's kind of no need for it, because you're burning on stage, you're burning so many calories.
Man. It's so intense, and you're working so hard. Like, the strength training will help you carry you, but cardio will just, depends on the cardio, but a lot of it will just deplete you. Yeah. And you want that energy to be at its best for the show.
Very, very, very true. So let's talk about a little bit about nutrition. A little like I find this difficult as well. It's like doing like a pre-workout, like what to eat basically before your workout. So sometimes I'll do it in the morning, and you know, when I wake up in the morning, I don't want this massive meal. But if I don't eat the meal halfway through the workout, I'm crashing massively. So is there any advice about what to give, you know, before a workout, or possibly before you go on, you know, not right stage, before you go on stage, but you know, any of those things? Yeah,
because they do coincide a lot, like pre-workout and in pre-show. Obviously you've got the adrenaline and the nerves pre-show as well, which does tend to kick in. I would say if you're training early and you don't want a massive meal, don't have a massive meal, because you'll be digesting it when you go into the gym anyway. Just have something small, like a piece of fruit, or like just like a rice cake and some chocolate or something, like a slice of chocolate, like just something small that would give you like what we call fast release energy. So that might be like a source of fat, or it might be a banana or an apple, something like that, because you're not going to struggle to digest that, but it will give you a nice bit of quick release energy. You could also have like a black coffee if you're into that, or a pre-workout. I'm not a fan of pre-workout.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this. Yeah, what do you feel about pre-workout?
I just don't like it. I don't like the taste of it, but it does give you that buzz of energy if you need it. I would say don't take it if you're an evening trainer or if you're doing evening before. Well, don't take pre-workout before a performance. You'll be like this on stage, like shaking. But yeah, coffee is fine, pre-workout is fine, but try not to take it because your sleep will be like messed up.
Okay. Yeah, is that why you don't advise the caffeine before the shows as well?
100%. And caffeine will cause you to crash at some point. So let's say you have caffeine before a show, you feel great for the first half, interval comes, you're like, exhausted now. Yeah, you will crash. Auditions as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good shout actually, because if you have workshop auditions, you've got to be consistent with that. Yeah, that is very true. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done a group for like workshop.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, so, and I always see that as well because I work in a theatre as my day job. And whenever I go, I always like replenish the ice for the bar, and we share the space with the actors in the green room because it's a very small theatre, and they're always like whacking on the kettle, like getting the coffee down them. So that's so true. I didn't even think about that. I just thought, they must be having cups of tea and stuff like that. But no, I'm pretty sure they're having coffee.
So many performers are caffeine addicts. I was such a caffeine addict back in the day. Like I'd have like 5-6 coffees to get me through the day. Yeah, and now I'm like, one is fine. I don't think my body could take it, to be honest. I would be like a shaking mess by the end of it. Well, exactly. And imagine you're trying to like get in character and get in the zone, and you're like shaking.
You're nervous as it is.
Exactly.
No, true. So in terms of pre-workout, this might be a myth, but it's not good to take it all the time. Take it sometimes, or
you can get pre-workouts that are caffeine free, which like if you're an evening trainer, you want to go to the gym later in the afternoon, that's fine because it won't affect your sleep. But because it has high amounts of caffeine in it, it will. I always suggest don't have any caffeine past like 1 p.m. because it stays in your system for such a long time, and that's going to affect your sleep, which will affect everything, energy, mood, etc. So I always say, like, if you need pre-workout, or if you feel like you need it or want it for a workout, if you're in the morning, great. Afternoon, cut-off point like 1 p.m.
I'm interested to know then, if they're caffeine free, how are they supposed to burst your workout? That's interesting, isn't it?
I don't know. I'd have to look into like there's something, I don't know. I don't have to look into that. That's a good point.
Yeah, I'm wondering what else is in there, because I'm the same as you. I just thought a lot of stuff to just keep you going, like that's enough. But yeah, I personally have never had it, because I literally 1 cup of coffee and I'm like, I'm done, I'm good. Yeah. So I feel like pre-workout I would be I don't know
It's
what I'd
very
be like.
intense. Like I've taken some before where my skin is like tingling in the work, and it's not actually like that. It's not nice. It will give you that energy, but it's not. There's something called intra workout, which I prefer, which is where you take it in the middle of your workout, which might work for you if you're training early in the morning, and it doesn't have the same buzz as like that pre-workout, but it just helps you kind of, because it has like carbohydrates in it, what we call EAs, which helps you bring up your energy levels when you're getting depleted. So if you're someone that does a long workout, intra workout is a good thing to take like halfway through your workout to kind of just keep you going. But none of my clients really train that long. I don't even train that long in the gym, to be honest.
Yeah, on average, how long do you train?
Like 45 minutes. Yeah, I used to be like, because in between, after drama school, I got into bodybuilding, and that was like, I was intensely in the gym, like 1.5 hours doing my session, then doing cardio, and that was when I would like take the monster drinks and the intra workout to get me through. But now I'm like, my priorities have shifted so much. I'm in there for half an hour sometimes.
Yeah, but like you said, if you're, you know, we're quite active people anyway, so it's not that necessary really, is it?
Exactly.
No. So what sort of foods are there? I mean, there might not be, and this might become a bit of a triggering question actually now thinking about it, but are there any foods that maybe we should avoid or aren't just necessarily that great for you?
Yeah, I think like in general, I would say try and have as much as you can, just like a whole food diet on processed foods. But that's not to say like you can't have chocolate or pizza or go out and get a takeaway. Like do that every now and again. That's not going to hurt anything. Yeah. But for energy levels, your health, like whole unprocessed foods, like fresh foods, fruit, veg, like carbohydrates, protein sources. You want to keep a nice high protein diet. Fats are great for you. Again, fats are something you can get really demonized, but they're great for you. And you've got like processed, unprocessed fats. So things like nuts, avocados, oils, they're so good for you. And your
so
health.
Nice as well, so that's helpful.
Exactly. Especially as females, like, you know, we're going to get our periods once a month, which is in turn going to affect how we're showing up, our energy levels. Fats is the best thing for you to have, like a high fat diet around that time. But yeah, I wouldn't say there's anything like, you know, you can or you cannot have this, because there's also that element of like your relationship with food. But as like with what in terms of your question, I would say as much as you can, 80% of the time, just have unprocessed whole foods. Yeah, that's fair. That's solid advice. And so let's talk about, what type of thing do you want to do as a performer? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, what things are you interested in doing? Yeah, good. I mean, I just want to straight act, and I've never done screen work. I've done theatre, or that's only what I've done my whole life. And now I'm taking more workshops and doing more like learning on like actually how to apply that to screen, which isn't anything crazy, to be honest. I think it's just toning it down and like so that's kind of the avenue that I want to go down now. It is hard, like I will never sit here and say I'm the queen of balancing everything, because I'm not. And I've taken a big break from performing, so my goals this year is to kind of pick up a new agent and kind of just see if I can balance my business with kind of taking on more. But I love stage, and theatre will always be like my first love. So I'd love to do a play soon, but again, like I said, it's like whether I can find a way to manage what I'm doing now with performing, which is something that I talk about with my clients. So I'd love to see how I get on, but I'd love to go more into screen. Is there like specific genres that you would like to do on screen, or? I just love like a good drama. Yeah, I do love it. Comedy has always been my weakness, but I think I'd be happy to explore. I feel like most people say this. Everyone, because comedy, I think is a really big. I think it's a very brave profession. 100%. It's like 100%. Really. Yeah, if you're not funny, for some reason in society we have dictated that if you are not funny, it's the most embarrassing thing known to man, and I have no idea why or why it's come about. But comedy is, I think everything's learnable. 100%. I think some people are naturally funny, and that's, you know, that's the way that people are. But I definitely think it's learnable. I think people just shy away from it. It's true, and I think that's probably where I've come from as well. Even I remember like thinking back at drama school, I'd always be like, I hate improv is and then I'd do it, and I'd actually be quite good at it, and I loved it, and it's like so much fun. And I think that's being good at improv is very kind of, it coincides with comedy a lot as well. So I think as you're right, I kind of just say comedy's not my thing, but it's something I'd love to challenge myself, and pushing myself out of my comfort zone is definitely something I want to do more of this year as well. So cool. And like we did
Did clowning? Did you do clowning?
Yeah.
That for me
fun, but terrifying.
was terrifying.
Yeah,
Absolutely terrifying.
It's terrifying.
And like, you're laughing. It was terrifying. You weren't even in my group actually, but yeah, I think it's so exposing. And like, if people don't know what clowning is, which I don't think most people obviously will, it's really not, you know, circus tricks and going and being like
that would be cool.
Yeah, I would welcome that if you taught me how to spin some plates or make some balloon animals. But it wasn't that. It was like, how do we describe clowning? It was like,
it's like
it is a form of comedy.
Yeah.
It's improvisation.
It's like overtly funny. Like, it's like what you'd assume is like the classic comedy performance. It's not like subtle.
No, definitely not. And to be honest, like I used to find it hilarious watching everybody else, but it was kind of like, what draws your attention on stage? How can we make this funny through physicality, through just saying things, or, you know, like, I feel like it's not the same, but the only thing I can closely link it to is like the play that goes wrong.
Oh yeah,
or the Mischief Theatre Company. I feel like that's kind of very clowny. I know it's not exactly, and people might come for me, but it's not. But it's like it's on that. I think it's on that level of like physicality, making things funny. Yeah, and I just found it so scary.
It is scary.
So scary. I remember like them being like, we were all stood in a row, and they were like, okay. And obviously the rest of the drama students were like sat as an audience, and they were like, right, you need to draw our attention to you. Go. And I was like, just froze. I was like, wait, no, like what? And they were like, be as silly, be as ridiculous as possible, draw the attention of the audience members, and they've got to look at you. And everyone went on to do like weird things, like, you know, I don't know, backflips, or people did like
standard,
just a whap out backflip, or like some people did funny impressions, some people did like weird voices, and I was like, I don't want to make an idiot out of myself. I was like, this is horrible. And at the end of the class, the lady who was running the session was like, you hated that, didn't you? And I was like, I hated that. I was like, I was there, like I was so self-conscious. It was awful. Because I think part of clowning is that you are literally just yourself. There's no like character to hide behind and stuff. So props to that though. It is.
It's so like physical theatre. It's so physical theatre, and I think if you're new to something, and if they say to you like, right now go and grab my attention, it feels personal, because it's like, if no one looks at me, that is on me. That is like not the character I'm playing. That is me. It is like, it's a lot of pressure to do that. Just and even when I did because I did my master's in movement after my PA, like we didn't do any sort of clowning, but like we had people in our class who were very experienced in that, and I would be like, oh, you're amazing, like can I be more like you? Because it's so funny, as actors I think people would think we're not self-conscious at all, and we don't have anything that we're nervous about, and we can take on anything. But there's always, like, I was watching an interview with Jodie Comer, who does Villanelle and Killing Eve, and she was like, there was one scene where she just like shouted a word, and she was like, I was so nervous, and like that felt really, like I felt really self-conscious doing that. I was like, but that is like one tiny thing. It's so funny how we all have kind of a thing that we are really self-conscious about and scared to do, no matter how much training or how confident you are in XYZ.
And it is a muscle as well at the end of the day. Like the longer you don't do it, the harder it is when you go back into that audition room and you're like, I've got to pretend that I don't give a fuck, but you're like, oh god, exactly. Like so what advice, this is my last question, what advice would you give to any creative if you could?
Oh my god, I think, like, that's a big question.
It is.
That's a big question.
Yeah, I always leave that one for last, and everyone's there like,
I think, like, there's so much I could say. Like, it's hard. Like, it's such a hard world, and I think there's been so many people so many times that just want to give it up because of the lifestyle that comes with it. And that was me at one point. That was me. I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to stick with this because this makes me money. But the thing that you really love and you really deeply care about will always come back to you, and it will haunt you the longer you try and stay away from it. So just like, even if you're not working full-time as an actor or performer right now, like, don't let that haunt you. Like, let that be your friend, and you'll always have a voice in your head saying give it up, but that voice is there to protect you. Become friends with that voice as well. Then that will always be like, don't do it, it's not working for you, and that's because it wants you to be safe. And safety is fine, but it'll get to a point in your life where you realize that, like, you don't need as much safety as you thought you did, and
Yeah.
you want to like do what you really love. So become friends with that voice that's telling you you're not good enough and you won't work it, and just go for it.
That's a really nice point, actually. I think you get so used to, I think when you first start in the industry, that voice can really overpower you, but the longer you're in it, it literally has just become like a friend, and you're like, oh, maybe this week we feel like giving up today. All right, well, we'll have a day off and we'll do whatever we want to go and do, and then and that's it. But that's a really nice point to make. Yeah.
And it will come up and it will go, as you said, it will come, and it's just about being like, oh, hey again.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you think I'm like, I'm not gonna do well in this, but like, and I my clients, I really admire them. Like, I have this girl who had 2 auditions last week, and one of them went really well, and one of them was like, she said it was awful, but she was like, do you know what? I just feel proud of myself that I went to London on my own. And I was like, yes, like, let's celebrate every single thing that you do, because it's not as straightforward as like getting a promotion or working your way up the ladder. So celebrate even the tiniest little wins.
Yeah,
that you have.
Well, thank you so much, Celeste.
You're
that was
welcome.
amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.